Hello and welcome back. We are going to first of all play the level counting signals. Or rather no, we go with half adder. We measure the universe with numbers, so your machine must learn to count. Wait a second. I'm gonna put on my headphones. We measure the universe with numbers, so your machine must learn to count. Treat the inputs 0 or 1, depending if they are red or green. Add them together in binary such that the result is either 0 or 1. As with normal addition, if the result cannot be described with one digit, set the carry to 1. My cam is not working properly. This is unfortunate. Made a video about it yesterday. So, sum and carry. See if both are true. It's going to be the carry. If either one of them is true, that will result in a sum of 1. Yes, here we are. Now we are going to do the full adder thing. In the previous level, we added together 2 inputs. This time we had 3. Once again, add the inputs together in binary, such that the result is either 0 or 1 with normal addition. If the result cannot be described with one digit, set the carry to 1. Alright, first things first, the sum that we already, in a previous level, we already created a circuit that is able to determine whether it was a even or odd number of signals, and in case it's an odd number of signals, the sum equals 0, right? I hope this makes sense. So now, how do we determine if the carry is 1? The carry is 1 if 2 or more inputs are true. It's so horrible. This is so annoying that my cam doesn't work properly. So this determines the sum, right? We're gonna do it with an AND. The first two, the first and the last, and the previous. This is going to solve it. See, this part of the circuit determines whether two of them are true. I think there might be a better way to do it, but this solves it, right? There's a XNOR, like the odd or even chain that we use to determine whether the sum is 1. And this equals the other. Adding bytes. It's going to be the next. It's going to be the next level in this series. What we are taking a look at now is the circular dependency. In our education system, we traditionally teach by tricking students into doing the wrong thing and then tasing them. I'm not sure it benefits the students, but teachers love it. Create a circular dependency. This is a circuit where the input of a component relies on its own output. A circular dependency situation is not possible to determine the output of a component because you would find because you would first need to determine the input, which relies on the output and so on. Hence, the circular, this state is normally not allowed in other levels, but in this level, the goal is to create one. So you understand what it is before going forward. The circular dependency. Yeah, well, make a circuit where the input of a component depends on its own output. That would be this, which creates an error instantly. Create a circular dependency involving at least 2 components. Okay, let's add another NAND gate. Delay lines. This level introduces the delay line component. It takes its own input and outputs it 1 tick later. Construct a circuit that outputs the same as the input, just delayed by 2 ticks. Yeah, well, that would just be 2 times the delay line in a row. Odd ticks. In previous levels you learned how we don't allow circular dependency. Now you must learn the one exception. The delay line is allowed to depend on its own input. This is allowed. This is because its input does not influence the rest of the circuit until next tick. Oh, interesting. Square pins in the game never affect the output in the same tick. They therefore never cause circular dependency. So that would look like this, right? We're experimenting with how backgrounds influence cognitive functioning in Earthlings. When invert is green, output the opposite of value, otherwise just output value as is. Oh, we now have 2. Invert the value. Right. Is this possible to do just using a NAND gate? No, that's an XOR. An XNOR. Wait, we already created the XNOR gate. Wait, let me check. The XNOR. What's the XOR? It's just an exclusive OR. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Despite the funny background, you figured out this was just the XOR gate in disguise. Well done. Yes, exactly. Okay. So now we are going to do counting signals. The output component of this level is a binary counter, where the first 3 pins correspond to 1, 2, and 4. Use the binary counter to display the number of signals. Check this hint if you get stuck. The solution for this level is not very neat and requires more components. Yeah. The first 3 pins correspond to 1, 2, and 4. See? First things first. We use the XOR chain to determine if 1 has to light up. So in this case, all the 1s would be true if we run it. 1s are true. And every 3 outputs a 1 as well. This is great. So now, what do we do? How do we determine if there's 2? Well, 4 is only true if all of them light up, right? So, first of all, to determine this, we could build a circuit that looks like this. The first 3. Here we are. That should give us true in the last case. So now we have to create the circuit that does the rest for us. So if it's 2 or more, this is gonna be a lot of AND gates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many combinations are there? Should be 8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oftentimes I just still hope to figure one day figure out about this. This should be it, if I'm not mistaken. So if either one of these are true, it is gonna we're going to need a 2 to display the number in binary. But this is also going to be true in case all 4 are true. So these two cannot exist at the same time. It's not nouns, it's XOR. Oh no, it's not XOR. It is this and not that. This is a very specific case. So this way it's gonna solve the level. Kind of tedious, this level, to be honest. But yeah, here we are. I guess there has to be a better solution than this. But for now, I don't know. Maybe if you play the game and you're interested in maybe finding a better solution yourself, I mean, this one would be an interesting level to do it. So here we are, double the number. The input and output of this level are using bytes instead of bits. One of the 2 new components you are given takes a byte and splits it into bits, and the other does the opposite. Using those components, figure out how to double the input. Since in one of the previous levels we were already told that the previous input always equals half of the following input. We would therefore just shift it by 1 to double the number. Next level we are going to play is the bit switch. If a component outputs a different value on the same wire, you'll get an error. However, some components have gray output pins. These are not outputting at all when the component is not enabled. This is the case for for the bit switch component. When the top pin is red, the output is disabled. That means that more than one of these gray output pins cannot be connected to the same wire and not cause an error, as long as only one of them is enabled at the same time. Okay, so we have gray output pins. This doesn't make sense. The reason for that is that so far we haven't encountered bytes. Two switches and two knots. It's interesting. Let's say and not B. Let's B and not A. So we created an 8-bit switch and oh, so this is why we've been explained how to use the 8-bit to use the gray component, right? One word. Here we are. Let's go. Bytewise OR. Yeah, these are just. Right, let us read this. You may think it is unethical to use all our slings that don't win the competition, but actually it is okay, because you lived good lives in the wild, and we don't let the meat go to waste. Or each bit of the input bytes, and outputs, or each bit of the input byte and output the result. I guess we already encountered bytes, so this is another tedious level. Well, we simply have to do for yeah, that's it. We just OR together. All the bytes, nothing magical, nothing fancy. We're gonna have to do it again. So we're gonna do the bytewise OR. So where's the mistake? Oh. No, it's working. No, it will work. Interesting. Why do I Zor? Bytes knots. Let us read this. Our previous model of brain size, being the main predictor of intelligence, was naive. Tool making and usage is key in early evolutionary stages of developing intelligence. Therefore, the number of arms in creatures is clearly the main predictor of intelligence. Did you know there are sea creatures from the planet with 4 times as many arms as you? And they are doing better in tests. Not each time, no, not each bit of the byte. Not each bit of the byte input. God, I haven't slept too well. I guess it shows. So here we are. Next one. Now we can not bytes. This is the byte-wise end. Should be anyway. I'm glad that it doesn't exist. Add the 2 input bytes. Each output bit in the output should be a result of the addition of the corresponding bits from the input and potentially a carry. If the result does not fit in 8 bits, turn the output carry green. Alright, okay, so if the result is higher than the 2 bytes, well, like if it's exceeding the size of a byte, get a carrier. Finally, there's an input carry as well. This is useful for chaining together byte adders to add large numbers. You can think of this carry as adding either 0 or 1. Use this hand if you get stuck. I mean, we already unlocked the adder component, and I know that there's a very clever solution that in a previous playthrough that I played on another account. Maybe I'm going to show you. I figured out like a very clever solution to this level. It's quite there's an achievement that is linked to it. It's quite challenging. At least I found it to be quite challenging. Even though this variant, which we are basically just 16. chaining together a couple of headers. Oh no, to the next one, right? If the carrier of the previous one is a given, we would have to add it to the addition of the next one. Wait a second. Where did you come from? Oh. 1, 2, 3. So from here on upwards it is wrong. Wait. Oh, this is the carrier that is... Yeah, it would have to be fed into there. This is not the worst solution. Input selector, negative numbers. Let's go with the input selector first. Even though he did not pass our tests, we decided to keep the dog. Unlike the most Earthlings, he is fluffy and follows simple instructions well. We might want them want to team you up, team you two up, since you compile each other's you complement each other's shortcomings well. Well, imagine being fluffier. When the bit selector, I don't know. I've read these like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times by now. No, this is not true. Anyways, still funny. When the bit selector input is red, output byte A, otherwise output byte B. Okay, byte selector. It's interesting. When it is red, we output byte A, right? We're just gonna go with switches. What is the... When the input selector is red, output byte A. Alright. So this should do the trick. This cannot be an error, because these are gray output components. There can only ever be one. Since it's either this or that. The MOOCs. Saving gracefully. Negative numbers. Should we just... I really want to finish this part, so I'm going to try to finish this part in this video. No, I'm not. This is it. This is the video for now. I'm going to record another video straight afterwards. So here we go.